Well, hi there, everybody, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you all, particularly to Emma sitting in Ireland. I think it's the day that we're all a little bit Irish. I do need to tell you, Emma, there is just a itsy bitsy part of me that actually is genuinely Irish. I believe about a quarter. So I was told, but who knows? As you can see, I'm dressed in the green. And by the way, Emma, I even made green foam. I don't know if you can see that, especially for the event. And just to make sure that you understand, I'm going to put on green lipstick. That. It's a mood matcher. Yeah, I came prepared today. So a very happy St. Patrick's Day, and I hope you went down to the parade today. That's awesome. Oh, you went to go and see the burial place of the saint himself. That is amazing. Hi there, Jody. Hi, Trina. Happy St. Patrick's Day. As I'm saying, I've even got green foam today. It doesn't show very well on there, but it really is green. Can you see it? Hi, Pat. Let's put it this way, Pat. I woke up. That's good. And congratulations, Pat. As some of you might have seen, Pat did an incredible job of adopting another set of twins, bless their hearts. And, you know, Pat, I just don't know where you find the energy, but I have to tell you that we do appreciate that you do. And I think it's important that we all know that the work that you do, Pat, is amazing. Whoops. Truly amazing. All right, so we're going to spend the day. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Who did I miss? Isabel, I missed. Jody, I got Trina. Yeah, I think I got everybody. But if I missed anybody, just let me know. How long does it take to adopt? I think that depends on how qualified you are to do that, right? Oh, your computer's buffering like crazy. If you can, Pat, try and close all the other screens you might have open. Oh, Trina went to the parade in Cork. I bet you it was great. I want to tell you something. I think any time that you can go and see a St. Patrick's Day parade, it lightens the soul. And that's why I decided, regardless of how I'm feeling today, I'm going to do a broadcast and I'm going to do it on St. Patrick. So I've got all sorts of great quotes from around St. Patrick's Day that I hope you will enjoy. And are my eyes looking green because I'm wearing so much green? I don't know if you've noticed that, but whenever I wear green, my eyes really come out green as well, which is really weird. They're probably hazel, but I've noticed that if I wear green, because does it seep through? How are the migraines? I'm still in a mind fog, quite honestly, Emma, but let's concentrate on that. Let's get on with our fun stuff. And let's just enjoy the St. Patrick's Day. May the luck of the Irish unfold you. May the blessings of St. Patrick behold you. I mean, I cannot wish for a better line than that. For you, those of you who are watching for the first time, welcome. Just to let you know, what we do is we talk about different quotes, and then whatever that brings up for us, people will just comment on it, and then we will take the discussion wherever it needs to go. So how many of you love the oh, look at that. Emma's putting up green hearts. And for those of you on the replay, you can't see them, but well done, Emma. We have no idea how you did that, but well done. For those of you watching for the first time, whether you choose to participate in the chat or not, that is fine. We really welcome that. We know people that have been here and been part of the broadcast for months, some even years, without ever saying a word, and that's fine. How about the Irish can charm the heart out of you? Well, Isabel says, I have helped you this weekend. Really? What did I do? It's always nice to know when I can help somebody. It makes it all worthwhile. Thank you, Isabel. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what I did to help you, but I'm glad that it helped. I thought this was a great quote. It was from Dwight D. Eisenhower, the one-time president of the United States. Everybody is Irish on St. Patrick's Day, but if your name is Eisenhower, you have to wear something green to show it. Which is, yeah. Actually, how many of you you're not surprised to hear that I've got part Irish in me because of the gift of the gab? Would that be fair? And for those of you who don't know what the gift of the gab is, my ability to talk ad nauseum and make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. That is the trick. I think that's the Irish part, really. May the love and protection St. Patrick can give you be yours in abundance as long as you live. Wow, listen to this. Isabel saying, because we had a flood downstairs, usually I would have freaked and been very emotional and asked myself what to do, and try and find the positive in the situation, and found it. It was so smooth. So you didn't panic. You just went, I don't know if you know, Isabel, but there is an incredible test they do for mental illness. and it's about a tap or faucet, depending which country you're in, being, you've got a wash hand basin, a vanity, sink, whatever, overflowing. And they put all sorts of different things. They put a teacup, they put a bucket, they put all sorts of other little, a teaspoon, all sorts of things out there for you. And the test is, what do you use in this situation? And maybe I can ask you all, if you had walked into a room and you saw all those things lined up in front of you, and you've got the wash hand basin overflowing, what do you do? Now, I won't repeat who's saying what here because I don't want to embarrass anybody. Oh, Emma's saying that she wouldn't kiss the Blarney Stone because of all the germs. Yes, I did wonder about that. Yeah, and Trina's saying she kissed the Blarney Stone. Something? I would say in this day and age, I'm not surprised you wouldn't kiss it. Wow. And Isabel's saying about the problem she had with the flood. The positive is that I asked him so many times to declutter, and now he didn't have a choice. Yeah, it was time. Do you know, Isabel, I'm amazed how many times life does that to you, where you go, I really should be doing this, or I really should be doing that. And, the should is the interesting word. And then you don't. And then suddenly something happens in your life that forces you to do it. How many of you found that happen? How many of you have found that? I've had people say to me, I've been feeling really badly because I really ought to do this. And I said, but you're not motivated to do it. And I said, and they said to me, no. And I said, don't worry. If you wait long enough, life will make you do it. And they go, what? And I said, you can choose whether to do it in your own time or do it under stress when life makes you do it. That's my experience anyway. Oh, Emma, you're not the only procrastination queen. You're looking at somebody who wrote a full day seminar on the power of positive procrastination. And it was sold out, and standing room only. And, because what I was saying is, I have proof positive that it pays to procrastinate, literally, because here I am doing a speech on it because I'm an expert, and it's sold out. But to my mind, it's amazing. Sometimes if you wait long enough, life will sort it out for you. Here's to good Irish friends, never above you, never below you, always beside you. How many of you got friends like that who are never above you, never below you, and always beside you? You know, that to me is the true definition of a friend. Jodie's saying about this business about life, you know, making sure you don't procrastinate anymore. Jodie's saying, like when the little table collapsed from all the stuff I had piled on it, I had no choice but to declutter. Yes, and didn't it work well for you? You see, that is the trick. And so whenever one of those sort of things happens, I just laugh now and I go, I guess it was, you know, as Isabel's saying, I guess it's time to tidy this up then. Yeah. Or I had a bit of a flood in my kitchen, something, I can't remember what fell or dropped, but I ended up with water all over the floor. And I just went, oh, so you think it's time I wash the kitchen floor again? You know, because, you know, if you can see it that way, as Isabel says, you don't actually go into panic. You just go, oh, apparently it's time to wash the floor again. Even though I just did it. Apparently I didn't do it well enough. It's time to do some more. You see, I believe the little leprechauns are everywhere. And how many of you understand that? You know, there are days when those little Irish leprechauns are bouncing all around my house. Yeah, Emma's saying, yeah, like I really should declutter that shelf, and then the shelf breaks and you declutter. Yeah, absolutely. How about there are only two classes of people? By the way, you know that comes from Europe because, you know, we don't talk about that here, but there are only two classes of people, the Irish and those who wish they were. Now, this is a one I absolutely adore. And I would recommend that you get your pen and paper ready for this one. For those of you who, like myself, have problem sometimes getting enough sleep. All right, are you ready? May the leprechauns dance over your bed and bring you sweet dreams. Isn't that beautiful? How many of you can see them dancing away over your bed? You know, don't count sheep, count leprechauns. They're much more fun and mischievous. Yes. And for those of you with a sense of humor, you're going to like this one. Never iron a four-leafed clover because you don't want to press your luck. Right, so Emma's saying, reminds me of Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Has anybody seen that film? No, I've never heard of it. Jodie will make a note. Have courage to take a chance. How many of you will take a chance on something this week? And I do apologize for having to cancel the broadcasts on Saturday, both of them. I really, really do apologize for that. I will try and make up in some way for that lost time. But, it really, it's not very often that I wake up and go, I should not broadcast today. It was just like, I wasn't seeing straight. I had a really bad migraine. I wasn't seeing straight. And I was shaking. And generally, I don't think makeup would have helped. Do you know what sort of day I mean? Where it's like some days, if I put some makeup on, I'll look a lot better, like today. But, we're just like, no, I don't think even makeup's going to help today. And I literally went, I hate to do this, but I need to cancel the lunchtime broadcast. And then, I slept to try and get rid of the migraine. And then, it got to about 4 o'clock and I thought, who am I kidding? I'm not going to be able to do this evening's broadcast either. And so I do seriously apologize. Luckily for you guys, I don't do that very often. St. Patrick's Day is a celebration filled with folklore, fantasy, food, and fun. From shamrocks to leprechauns to green food and green drink, this is a holiday for all ages. One of my favorite memories of all time of St. Patrick's Day. And if you have anybody that you know that suffers from a severe mental illness, hi there, Linda. If you know anybody who suffers from mental illness, please hear this, in the manner to which it was meant at the time. I sat on the board of the Canadian Mental Health Association for a while. And the interesting thing was that one of the things I did was I took a whole lot of mental health patients to celebrate St. Patrick's Day at the local pub. And, some of them had a few little bits going on that made them stand out pretty well, in a general crowd. And it was quite funny because as I walked them into the pub, I said, you know how people normally look at you strangely? And I said, the good news is after a couple of drinks, nobody's going to look at you anymore. You're going to be just looking like everybody else. So let's go and have a couple of drinks. And, they really love me for it. Yes, hi, Niasha. How are you feeling, honey? The green foam is going down. It's going to be difficult for me to show you. So if you haven't seen it by now, hard luck. May your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow. Isn't that beautiful? May your blessings outweigh the shamrocks that grow. Okay, now the following quote was seen on a speedometer. That's the how fast are you going thing in a car. It says, Lord, grant me a steady hand and a watchful eye, that no man may be hurt when I pass by. Thou gavest life, I pray no act of mine may take away or mar that act of thine. Wow. Whether it's St. Patrick's Day or not, everyone has a little luck of the Irish in them. Would you agree? And I do think that one of the most magical things about the Irish is their slant on life. They look at life a little differently and with a lot more fun. Now, I'm a great believer that the reason that they got that incredible sense of humor is because of all the hardship they went through. And I am totally of the opinion that the world is a better place because of the Irish. For wherever they traveled, and they traveled far and wide, wherever they traveled, they brought that glint of in the eye, they brought that little spark of humor, they brought the incredible courage and an ability to not only work hard, but laugh at themselves. Yes, Trina says, because we're all over the world spreading the love. I believe that, and the humor, Trina. I think, of all the Irish I ever met, I married an Irishman. Wasn't totally happy all the time, but for a long time, it was really very amusing. Emma says, if it were raining soup, the Irish would go out with forks. Yes, they're very optimistic people. They wouldn't go with spoons, they'd go out with forks. So how about this one? So Irish, right? May the clouds in your life be only a background for a lovely sunset. I think that's beautiful. Yes, Linda in the UK is saying, I think the Irish sense of humor is lovely, Sal. Yes. You know something? There is something very quaint about the Irish sense of humor. It means no harm. Whereas, if you'll forgive my saying so, Linda, that the Brit sense of humor can be quite biting at times, right? I had to learn not to do that too much when I came to North America. But the Brit sense of humor is very fast and can really cut you off at the knees if you're not careful. And I really must tell you something, Linda, that even after all these years, when did I leave? 50 years ago, I left England, more than, and no, just about. And, the most amazing thing was that I can still meet up with somebody that's a Brit, and within seconds, my accent changes, and within seconds, the speed at which I think just increases, and almost every other line is funny. You know what I mean? It's just like the Brits are so quick on the uptick. And I can remember that when I was on tour, when I was speaking, I could almost tell the people with British heritage, right? Because I would do a one-liner that was quiet and very straight-faced and without a single thing giving it away that this was funny, and a third of the audience would burst out laughing, and I used to go, you got British background, I know that. There's no way a North American would pick up on that one. And that's no disrespect to the North Americans. It's just that you just have to understand that they have a totally different sense of humor. It's very fast. I think whenever I'm feeling miserable, I don't know if any of you, we've come away from some of the Irish, but I don't know what you guys do, but whenever I'm feeling a bit sorry for myself, I will put on either the British comics, the Ronnies, the two Ronnies, or funny enough, Trina and Emma, I will put on, I think it was Dave Barry. So Nyasha is asking, what is St. Patrick's Day for? It is to honor St. Patrick. St. Patrick was the saint who did he discover Ireland? I want to make sure I get the history right here. But he was, so, once a year, the same as we, in the Christian calendar, we celebrate different days. St. Stephen's Day, or whatever. But this is St. Patrick's Day. And am I Irish? I believe that there is a part of me, Nyasha, that is. So I was told, about a quarter. He was actually Welsh, right? But he went over to Ireland, right? You see, if I were in England, I'd say, and he leaked because he was Welsh. He leaked over there. Never mind. Right. May the good luck be with you wherever you go. Wherever you go, whatever you do, may the luck of the Irish be with you too. It's beautiful. May you never find trouble or crowding and shoving, but always good fortune, all smiling and loving. I wish that for all of you. All right, here's the patron saint of Ireland, who ministered Christianity to the Irish during the 5th century. He drove out all the snakes in Ireland. There are no snakes in Ireland. You don't have to worry about snakes in Ireland, unlike Australia. The luck of the Irish, yes. And why did they come up with that? You know, why were the Irish considered to be so lucky? What was it that created that expression? Did anybody know? So also the Irish celebrate St. Patrick's Day in gratitude for the service which he did them in bringing the Irish and their most priceless possession, their gift of faith. Yeah, I think that would be true, that the Irish are incredibly deep-rooted in their faith. Be that whatever their religion, they are deep-rooted in their faith. And, you know, as you know, that the conflict that happened between North and South Ireland had to do with which religion you were part of. And, you know, I think it was John Lennon who said that, right? What if there were no religion? Would we all get on? And I think that's a very interesting point, which is if you look at all the conflicts in the world, how many of them are seated in a very deep-seated belief in religion? Wow, I didn't know that. Emma's saying that St. Patrick was captured by raiders as a 16-year-old in northern Britain and was taken across the Irish Sea by pirates and sold into slavery. I didn't know that. You see, every day I do a broadcast, I learn something. And here is a really great quote. If you can't get over, go around. And if you can't go around, go under. And if you can't go under, leap over the top, but get. And I think one of the most well-known of the Irish blessings, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. Wow. Emma, who's giving us a history lesson, thank you so much. I appreciate it, both of you here. All right. Along with Christianity, St. Patrick abolished slavery and human sacrifice in the process. Wow. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. There is joy of old Killarney in these wishes meant for you. There's a bit of Irish blarney and a touch of magic too. There's a wish of lots of laughter and good luck. Be sure of that. And wish that all your dreams may come true in no time flat. Isn't that beautiful? And some of you will need this beautiful quote today and maybe this week. So again, one of those ones you may want to write down. Put your troubles in a bag and drop them over the bridge on your way over here. Isn't that beautiful? Put your troubles in a bag. How many of you can see yourself doing that mentally? Okay, let me take all the problems I've got going on at the moment. Right, and I'm going to throw them in a bag, and I'm going to see myself walking to a bridge, and I'm just going to drop them over there. No more problems. If you took your average day Do you know how many negative thoughts we have in an average day? Do you know, it is, I believe that it's horrific. The number of negative thoughts that come into our minds every day. And Jody, if you make a note, I will look up that fact again, and I will put it up on the resource page, the number of negative thoughts that we have in a day. And it's really, really scary to me. And so it really helps when we can reframe them. When we can take, as Isabel was saying, when we can look at a flood and go, oops, I guess it's time to clean up down here, and not panic. It's water. I am absolutely amazed at how it changes your day. And, yes, it's stressful, and it still will be stressful, but the way in which you handle it will be different. Wow, poor Beth. She's saying, I had too many negative thoughts to count today. Yeah, we all do, Beth. I think it's something ridiculous. It's in the thousands per minute, or something ridiculous, of thousands per hour. It's amazing. I will just have to look up that quote again. Hang on a second. Let me do it right now, because if I don't, then I will get frustrated with myself. Hang on a second. We humans, it seems, have anywhere between 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. But according to some research, as much as 98% of them are exactly the same as the ones we had the day before. 80% of our thoughts are negative. 80%. Yes, and so what I've discovered as well, that's interesting you should say that. Linda's saying here, hang on a second. Linda's saying, but the learning is it's just a negative thought, right? It's worth the struggle. Yes, because I found that when you can see it for what it is, that's all it is. It's a negative thought. And now let me think about the positive one about this. Emma's saying, I remember the emotions I went through when my bathroom flooded and seeped through the floor and flooded the whole kitchen. Yes, horrible. You're right. It's an invasion. I can remember so clearly hearing this incredible crack happen. And the next thing was to watch 3 trees fall away from me into the neighbor's garden. 3 trees just totally uprooted and fell. If they had fallen towards me, there were 5 of us standing in my kitchen. We would have been hit, no doubt about it. Now, I wasn't pleased that they fell towards my neighbor, and one tree was big enough that it actually hit his house. But, I remember thinking to myself, wow, thank you for having them fall the other way. Once I found out nobody was hurt, of course. Wow, that's interesting. Emma's saying, yep, after watching it for 230 minutes, I walked out slowly, closed the door, and went to my mother's. Yes, that's throwing your problems over the bridge in a bag. Beth saying, I got called into work at 5 a.m. this morning, and I just got back home. I'm off work for the next 2 days, not going to go into work unless the store is burning down. Yeah, Beth, I believe that's your intent. I believe that is your intent. That's so cute. Emma's saying when she went to her mother's, she made tea. Tea cures everything. Yeah. And for us in North America, coffee does the same. Even when they have nothing, the Irish emit a kind of happiness, a joy. That is my fondest memory, I think, of the Irish. They make the most incredibly mundane thing humorous. And they always have a kind word for people. May your neighbors respect you, trouble neglect you, the angels protect you, and heaven accept you. Isn't that beautiful? May your neighbors respect you, your troubles neglect you, the angels protect you, and may heaven accept you. It's so cute. And may the light always find you on a dreary day. I think one of the greatest lessons I've learned in coming to British Columbia, my part of British Columbia where I live, where it rains a great deal, is you learn that it's just rain. I would think, hi, Tyler, happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well, honey. Yes, Linda's saying they have a kind word for everybody, Sal, because they are kind people. Yes, that is so true. And they are, they are brought up to be kind and considerate. How about there is no language like the Irish for soothing and quietening? And Emma's saying, my grandmother used to say, may the sun shine warmly upon your face and may the wind be forever at your back. She loved that one. I miss her. Yes, I think that wind at your back is you've probably heard me say that she died on St. Patrick's Day. Wow. Well, we are honored to meet her through you. And I would say that Emma, she would be pleased to see how the sun is shining warmly through your face these days, because I can feel it. And I would not be sad, even though I missed her. I would be happy to have met her and so grateful to have had the time with her. So many people in life didn't get to enjoy their grandparents. And so be happy today. Make it a celebration. And I know it's difficult, Emma, when these life-changing events happen on celebratory days. I lost my mom on Valentine's Day and my biological father on Mother's Day. Tyler's saying, I love the Irish people. Even though I can't understand a lick of what they're saying sometimes. Yes, I understand that. A lot of people would agree with you. St. Paddy's Day is our celebration day for Ireland's favourite saint, who both saved us from snakes and gave us our own day to celebrate the Irish heritage. Yes, Tyler's saying sometimes, but they're very nice people. I think most people are very nice people sometimes. But I understand, right? They are very nice people. I don't think I've met too many nasty Irish people. I've met some pretty committed, passionate Irishmen. Yes, Emma, I'm pleased to hear that about her grandmother. She's saying, yes, Sal, but I don't feel sad. She enjoyed this day, so I enjoy it for her and her great-grandchild. Yes, that is exactly the way to see it. Well done. Long live the Irish, long live their cheer, long live our friendship, year after year. And Ireland has always been the home of the dreamer, the poet, and the storyteller. It is one place, by the way, in the world that I have yet to visit, and it is on my bucket list to do that. I don't know why. I think part of me is almost scared to visit because I may stay. It's really strange, isn't it, that at this age, I have never been to Ireland. So Beth is saying, Beth, do you want me to tell the backstory of that for the viewers or not? I just don't want to do it without your permission. And the next quote is, we cannot share the sorrow if we haven't grieved a while, nor can we feel another's joy until we've learned to smile. Emma's saying, I need a Sal hug once in my life. Yes, everybody needs a Sal hug once in their life. Yes, it's funny, Trina, there's part of me that I think I would find it very difficult to leave. There is no doubt in my mind. Yes, the Irish hospitality. Beth says she needs a Sal hug every morning. I think it's really, Beth, you've had a lot of drama. You've been attracting a lot of drama recently. So I wish you peace. I have to tell you that I really wish you to look at the drama that's being attracted and just don't respond to it. I find it really interesting. The thing that I asked Beth to give me permission to talk about, and correct me where I get it wrong if I do, is that she has a sister who she hadn't heard from for years, tens of years, who suddenly wrote to her. And Beth saying she doesn't know how to respond to that. So what I would do, Beth, if I can make this suggestion, is while you are not responding, maybe write down the real reasons of the emotion. What came up for you that's good and what came up for you that isn't so good. Yes, it's interesting. Emma's saying you have to go into a pub in Ireland to taste not just the black stuff, that would be Guinness, but the traditional music. Nothing as beautiful. Why did I not mention that? I just love the storytelling in music. Yes, Trina's saying, we love to chat and be friendly. You'd love it. Yes, I wanted, I can see myself literally, being in the pub as they opened it and still being there when they, called for last round, and drunk as a skunk. I don't know if I'd be able to stomach Guinness, but I know it's good stuff. We cannot share this sorrow if we haven't grieved a while, nor can we feel another's joy until we've learned to smile, right? Just remember about that. Life isn't one or the other. Life is both sides of that coin. And some days you flip it and the sad side comes up, and it is not a bad day. It's just a sad day. Does that make sense? Hi, Manjo. Good to see you again. Irish folk singing is very moving. I want to tell you, Irish singing is very moving. It's just like... All right, so Beth is saying she hasn't said a word to me since 2013, but now wants me to send her birth certificate to her. The text was cold and demanding. Okay, now that's a bit of extra information. So the only reason she is contacting you is for her birth certificate. My question is, why are you holding her birth certificate? Trina's saying, whenever I go traveling on holiday, I look for an Irish pub. Yeah, we know our own. Yes, that's wonderful. Well, Emma says, thanks for the cast, Sal. I'm going to sleep now. Happy Paddy's Day to all of you. And she walks out of the door dancing like a little leprechaun. Well, sleep well. May the leprechauns dance over your bed, and may your dreams be sweet. Beth, you've got two choices. Send it to her, and would literally just send it to her, or not. Because if she had lost it, she would have to apply for another. But I've got to ask you, if you were in a really Irish mood with a lot of love and consideration, would you send it to her? You don't have to start communication again. If it was cold and demanding, yes, exactly. Just write and say, give me the address and I'll send it to you, and do it. You don't have to do more than that. You're only responsible for your behavior, not hers. But there's part of me that goes, if she hasn't spoken to you since 2013, have you spoken to her since then? Yes, communication. This is Linda, who's learned a lot in the last 6 years, right? Communication doesn't have to be loving. Just send it. Wow. Beth saying, this is an interesting one. She left on bad terms because I sent her now husband to jail. Yeah, that would create a bit of a rift. I'm sure you had good reason, Beth. You don't have to tell us what it is. But you would do that with good reason. And so therefore, I remember saying to somebody that I was very close to, and I found out accidentally that she was scamming the government in some way. And as soon as I found out, Beth, I went to her and I said, I'm going to give you 2 months to adjust your way of life in a way that you don't have to scam the government anymore. Because if you haven't done so within 2 months, I will report you because I am aware that you're scamming. She said, it's none of your business. I said, yes, it is. I pay taxes. I've earned the right. I've paid into this. I said, no, you haven't earned the right to cheat. Nobody has that right. And we have a lot of ill thoughts going on in the world. And to my mind, as I look at everything that's going on in the world at the moment, I go, what happened to our humanity? And why are people so scared all the time? Nyasha, she doesn't have to tell her anything. Nyasha's saying, I think you should tell her as it is. Yeah, I would just say, give me the address and then send it to her. Leprechauns, castles, good luck and laughter, lullabies, dreams, and love ever after. 1,000 welcomes when anyone comes. That's the Irish for you. Yes, Tyler's saying prayers for the fine folks in New Zealand, by the way. Yes, obviously I was referring to that. Tyler, I think what is so wonderful to hear is the New Zealanders going, you are part of us. And I think it's really important. You know, when we start getting fearful of somebody's religion, it is, you know, and when we start thinking because some fanatic comes from a certain religion that all people of that religion are fanatics, you know, that tells me that you're not very well educated. Because we have, you know, really come to a place where, as I've said to so many people, if you look at the logic of it all, I understand why some people are so fearful. But if you do the math, it's too late. You know, it's like, right. And Linda's saying you can't legislate against a fruitcake. That's somebody who's, you know, mentally deranged. Yeah, you know, but you know, you have to look at where these people are getting their information. And we've had it happen here, Linda, where people have come in and told us, you know, 1 and 1 makes 13. And I'm going, where are you getting that information? And, you know, if you query them, they get quite upset. But the truth is they're not getting it from a well-known news source. They're getting it from some fringe type thing. And, you know, it's like, I totally support free speech, but not all free speech is truthful. Yes, Manrich, you know, Manjay, she's saying that all of us Aussies feel a very, very heartbroken over New Zealand, just especially as he was from Oz, right? I mean, that must have been heartbreaking for you guys to find out that he came from Oz. And he did it in New Zealand because they are so peaceful. I mean, where is the sense in that? What I'm really pleased about is the fact that the media has not given him personally any media. You know, there's media about those that died. There isn't, you know, they're not giving his name or anything. The other thing is, what sort of a brain puts on a GoPro camera when they're about to murder people and streams it live? I mean, do you understand how many people are going to start doing that now? That's the scary part. May the happiest days of your past be the saddest days of the future. I can hear Linda going, we've had more than our 10 minutes on that one. All right, so let us move on. You know, I feel very strongly about this, people. I can't fix it. If I had the pill, I would take it. Part of our Irish heritage is artfully combining fine food, drinks, music, and conversation on this blessed day to make good times, and showing that our Irish hearts are always open and loving. Anyone can be Irish on St. Paddy's Day. There was a senseless shooting in Montana. When did that happen, Tyler? Manjo is saying that, yeah, it only took the New Zealand cops 36 minutes to catch him. Wasn't it amazing? I think the response rate of our police forces these days are just amazing. I'm sorry to hear that, Tyler. I've been out of action for a couple of days with some health issues. So I am really sorry. And, you know, were many killed? I gather a police officer was shot. Well, I'm sorry for the one person that was killed, but thank goodness it was only one person killed. I really do believe that the public is going to demand something. I keep hoping that there will be more control. There is, to my mind, if we see how many people have been killed in the US alone this year, and then we see that 50 people were killed in New Zealand, and there's international outrage about that. Quite honestly, when you see the number that have been killed in the US, it is scary, people. It is really scary. Imagine if we were all magical leprechauns and every wish we ever made on a 4-leaf clover obliged us to helping others obtain their wishes. Now imagine if people simply lived like this were true. Isn't that amazing, right? What if your job in life was to make people's dreams come true in some way? And there's part of me that goes, I can think of a few people in my life where I've helped them make their dreams come true, and it is the greatest gift I could have given them. Tyler said, just those of you who might have missed it as well, 3 people pulled over to help the guy out, and he started shooting at them randomly. And he shot a cop while he was sitting in his patrol car. Yeah, you have to ask why. Good living is a state of mind. Well, it's very kind of you to say that, Linda. Linda's saying you gave me my dream come true. Well, Linda, thank you. And, as I said, that the reason I come here and I talk about the things I talk about is because I genuinely hope to help people be happier in some way. And we all have problems that we're trying to deal with. We are all fighting stress and difficult situations in our life. But as Isabel said, if we can learn to see the troubles in a different way, it doesn't feel quite as bad. Wow, Linda's saying, I get out of bed able to face my day now. Thank you. Linda, my pleasure. Thank you for finding us. You were looking for help. Thank you for staying with us. You wanted to get better. And thank you for helping others. You are truly a kind person because you're giving back to others that you received. And if you know the story about Pat, who has spent a lifetime looking after children who were not able to control their own lives, children born into, with fetal alcohol syndrome, children of HIV parents, children of, when you go down the list of the children that Pat has taken in and looked after, it makes you wonder what sort of place is waiting for her in heaven. When I hope she doesn't get there soon, but, when she eventually takes that trip, I've got a feeling there's a very special place in heaven for her. Wow. And Linda's saying, I couldn't get better without the right help. I appreciate it. Linda, I tried to tell you the truth as I saw it. As you know, I am not a doctor or psychiatrist or therapist. I just have a little experience, both because of my own life and the other lives that I've worked with in my life. And to my mind, it is really important that we understand. Linda saying you're my GP. Yeah. Well, I just try to share what I know. And I try to make sure that we're not living in Disneyland. And if you know what I mean by that, well, if only they did this, that, and the other, then it would be fine. Well, they're not going to. That's Disneyland thinking. Well, if only they will. No, that's Disneyland. Here they are who they are. Deal with it. Manrich, if you're serious about that, if you look below the chat line, and I'm sure Jody will put up the link as well. If you look below the place where you type, there's a little $sign. And if you press on that, there's a bar that goes underneath. You can regulate how much money you'd like to donate. And thank you. You know, there's a little bar that you can slide across, and it'll put the amount of money that, you know, you can just put it wherever. Yeah. So legend says that each leaf on a clover has a meaning. The first for hope, the second for faith, the third for love. And if you can find a fourth-leafed clover, the fourth represents luck. I believe that luck is something we all create. That is my reality. I believe that the harder you work, the luckier you get. The more you do the right things in your life towards your goal, the luckier you will get about achieving it. I don't believe that luck is something that just is with the Irish. I think luck is something we create. The same as I believe we create our own drama and we attract it. And the really strange thing was that the broadcast I was going to do on Friday was about the law of attraction. And I find it really interesting that I got sick so that I could not do that broadcast. And so, hang on a second, let me just click it here so that I can. Yes, so it says that to send a highlighted message, but you actually get to, if you click on Super Chat, where it says Super Chat, it'll give you the information that you want. Manjar, does that make sense? So click on the $sign, then click on Super Chat. And that's where you will see the amount of money, you know, the place where you can donate money. And there's a little button underneath that you can move up and down. Wow. Linda, do you want me to repeat that? That is very personal information, and I'm happy to repeat it if you want me to, but I would like permission to do so. St. Patrick was a gentleman who, through strategy and stealth, drove all the snakes from Ireland, his toasting to his help. But not too many toastings, lest you lose yourself and then forget the good St. Patrick and see those snakes again. Yeah. How many of you have? There have been times in my life where I got to tell you, there were times in my 20s when I wonder how the heck I ever got my car home. And I'm glad to have survived my 20s. The Irish have gained a reputation over the centuries for being very warm, kind, and hospitable people, though sometimes a bit too fond of the drink. These characteristics are most evident on St. Patrick's Day, when people of Irish descent organize parades and parties. And here is a St. Patrick's Day poem. Once again, we feel the magic when St. Patrick's Day comes around. Sure, you can see the shamrocks as they bloom all over town. It doesn't make a bit of difference if Ireland you've not seen. If your folks came from Ireland, then you'll know what I mean. For there's a lilt of Irish laughter with a twinkle in the eye and a blessing on sweet lips when you have to say goodbye. So though we're far away from Ireland, one can dream of hills so green that just to walk upon them would be an answer to a dream. There is an Irish saying that my mother oft did say, a fair wind be at your back to the last you all the way. So may it be the same on this St. Patrick's Day. There is an old Irish saying, my mother oft did say, a fair wind be at your back to last you all the way. Think about that. I wish you very warm winds. Okay, so I'm going back because Linda has now said that I can repeat what she said. Nicholas, her son, has autistic issues, if I'm correct on that, Linda. If I'm not, please, just update me. And she said, when I have a bad time with Nicholas, I just take a deep breath and say to myself, and Sal would do ... I get through it now. Now, Sal. Hang on a second. I get through it now. Sal, enough for Nicholas to stay with his family. Thank you so much. Yes, so what was happening to Linda when we first met her was that she was in overwhelm. She had stopped looking after herself. She was so busy looking after her son that she stopped looking after herself. And there wasn't much of her left, quite honestly. I think that would be fair to say, Linda, where, her whole life had been looking after her son with his issues, and she had ceased to look after her. And so one of the things that we did with Linda was to help her see that if she wanted to continue to help her son, it would be necessary for her to look after herself better. And I'm very pleased to tell you that that is what she did. All right, now before I carry on, are there any, I don't think there are any birthdays coming up this week for those of you who are regulars. I think we got some coming up the following week. Are there any other issues that anybody would like to share before we carry on? For those of you who are following my diabetes story, I went through a monumental yo-yo in the last week again. Some of you know, I managed to lose 6 pounds and suddenly, I ballooned up again, and I couldn't see that I had done that much wrong to create that, but obviously I did in some way. But most of it was water retention, and that is the discussion I'm going to have tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to see both the dietitian and a nurse here in British Columbia. They give me that as a part of my medical, is that I get an hour with each to discuss what is going on and what needs, what help they can give me. And so I am very blessed to be here. And then I am going off to go and have the dinner that I had to, Marnie needed to cancel last week, for those of you who know my friend Marnie. So that will definitely be something that will be fun. I also know that if I feel too exhausted after those 2 meetings, because I'm certain it'll be information overload, that I will, not worry about needing to cancel it. myself, but I will do everything I can to get to that meeting with Marnie, because I always find that my world is better when I've had a meal with her. She has such incredible views on things that I find fascinating. So anybody else with any input, just let me know. And Nyasha, was so glad that everything went well for you this week, by the way. And I really look forward to hearing, if that medication that you're on works for you. Give it time to work, because some of these things take a while to show their true benefits. I always say to people who are, suddenly diagnosed with antidepressants, for example, you understand it'll take 6 weeks for that medication to actually build up enough to start making a difference. And so with a lot of medications that we're given these days, right, it'll take a while before they truly show their colors. So while people are letting me know what else they need to discuss, if you would like to, just, drop me a note. May your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. I'm Irish. When I feel well, I feel better than anyone. When I am in pain, I yell at the top of my lungs. And when I'm dead, I shall be deader than anybody. Tyler's saying that he's so glad it's finally beginning to look like spring. Yes, I would agree with you. We have a beautiful day here today. And the temperature is beginning to feel a little better. And my crocuses are out, this is good. I will know it's truly spring when my flowering cherry tree blooms. Then that's the thing. When I see that bloom, I know spring is here. Well, bless you. Thank you so much, Manjar. I'm very grateful. That little these donations that people give all help me, pay for some of the costs of running DearMamaSal, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. It was easier when I was working because I had more disposable income to be able to pay for those sort of things. But it's more difficult now. But thank you. I appreciate the help. They say that there's free beer in the Irish paradise. How many of you can sort of say that? Well done, Manjar. You have learned something new today. Well done. And I really appreciate the gift. Thank you. And Lara Flynn Boyle said, that's what the holidays are for. The one person to tell the stories and another to dispute them. Isn't that the Irish way? I'd like to say that the Irish sort of don't, they have two different points of view. They don't have arguments. All right? Do you know what I mean? It's like, they don't hate you because you have a different point of view. You just have a different point of view, and that's okay. And Douglas MacArthur said, the best luck of us all is the luck you make for yourself. And, we were talking about that, right? Make your own luck. Do the right things, and you will be luckier. Do the right things, and you will be happier. Do the right things, and you will be healthier. Do the right things, and there will be less drama. And I really want to thank you all for allowing me to live my life vicariously, or have you lived your life vicariously through me in some ways, where I can show you that a year ago, I said I was going to need to downsize my house and sell it. It's taken me a year. I thought it would take me a couple of months. But how many of you know it took as long as it took? And that's okay. And there are people that say, well, the market's dropping dramatically now, you'll lose so much. And I'm going, no, I won't. I didn't have the money to lose. Do you know what I mean? It's like the only way that you lose money is if you have it. So to me, I didn't have the money, therefore I don't lose it. And as I said, the property that I will end up buying is also losing value. So I am very fortunate and I am happy. I'm happy I did it at my pace, not at somebody else's. St. Patrick's Day is an enchanted time, a day to begin transforming winter's dreams into summer's magic. It's time to plan summer if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's time to start working on fall. And this, I think, is so true and needs to be true of all of us. George Bernard Shaw said, "The heart of an Irishman is nothing but his imagination." All right? The reason that the Irish are so happy is they imagine being happy. They don't let the bad things get them down as much. In fact, I'd like to suggest they don't tolerate it. They don't give it space the way that some people do. And if you're Irish, it doesn't matter where you go, you'll find family. And that's why I said that thing about this part of me that is scared to go to Ireland. I think I will find I have family there. There is an Irish proverb that says, "A good friend is like a four-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have." And Tennessee Williams wrote, "Luck is believing you are lucky." You see, if you all believed that you were lucky, luck would find you. Not just on St. Paddy's Day. Luck would find you every day of your life. And how many of you could do with a bit of luck these days? And here is a lovely quote from St. Patrick himself. "Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be." It's when we're trying to make things different than they are. That's what I call the Disneyland thinking. When we're constantly wishing life were different, when we can live life as it is, that is where the difference is made. For those of you who, I can't remember who said that a little bit earlier, and I did read it, but I forgot. I was just trying to finish my thought before I mentioned it. If any of you have learned anything here and passed it on to somebody else, can you just let me know that you've literally heard something during a broadcast and you've had reason to be able to pass that on to somebody else? And perhaps you could let me know, yes, I did, and what was it? I just love the fact of using green lipstick today, don't you? Because I believe that that is our role in life. I believe it is the role of the Irish to be who they are. I believe it is our role in life to learn, and if we are generous, as are the Irish, that we pass it on. Trina's saying, I believe all these sayings go for everyone, not just the Irish. Everyone has luck and happiness and peace if they believe they have it. Yes, I agree with you. And that's why it would be my wish, if I could wish on a four-leaf clover, it would be my wish today that you all have all the wonderful blessings that we've talked about today, because you choose to have them. I choose to be happy, not miserable. I choose not to let this person affect me. I choose to understand I am just responsible for my behavior, not anybody else's. And also I choose to understand that just because I would do a nice thing doesn't mean somebody else will. You know what I mean? How many of you have had to learn that lesson, that you actually judge the world by your own actions, and that's why you get so bitterly disappointed? Well, how could they do that? I'd never do it. No, you wouldn't. And that's what makes you special. And I really don't believe that people get up in the morning and say, I'm going to stick it to Sal today. I don't believe that's anybody's wish. So if anybody is really, good night, Trina, if anybody's really nasty to you, take a moment after the shock, but take a moment and go, gosh, I wonder what really is upsetting them. And I wonder how I can be a friend now. And the way that we probably can be a friend is not to react. And you know, I'm quite sure that when Beth got that notification for the first time in so long, that her mind didn't go, oh, that's nice. The only reason that she wrote to me is she wants something. Totally understand that, Beth. Totally get it. But you know, that is true. The only reason she wrote to you was because she wanted something from you. Yes, you're right. Tomorrow is another day, Beth. Jody's saying there's not a single person that I've met that doesn't hear a Salism from me, be it seek first to understand or it is what it is. Don't stay in Disneyland thinking. Let's think of real options. Yeah, thank you. That's great to hear. You know, Manjo is saying, you remind me so much of a dear friend. I find peace after listening to you. Tyler's saying that depends. I might have to stick it to you every now and then. Yeah, that's okay, Tyler. You know, we went through New Year and a lot of you had new thoughts and wishes for the coming year. I think St. Patrick's Day is one of those days where we go, would you like to be happier this year? And if so, let us learn some lessons from the Irish, who have had more than their fair share of hard luck, but chose to see it well. Who chose to control, you know, they choose to control their minds in such a way that they just don't let that upset you. Somebody can disagree with them and they don't hold a grudge. That's not that they don't like you anymore. It's just your opinion. And let's have another beer and we'll we'll change topics and talk about something else. And you know, for so many of the Irish, they had so little, and yet they have given the world so much. So much. And I would like us to just remember that on St. Patrick's Day. A little bit of laughter, a little bit of kindness, and a little bit of humor in terms of being able to laugh at ourselves. Because I think that is the true definition of humor, your ability to be able to laugh at yourself. And Tyler's saying holding a grudge is so unhealthy. I can't stand holding grudges. Yes, I just keep reminding myself it's just their opinion. And you know, they have the right to make that choice. Tyler, I say that a lot to myself. When somebody does something that is really wicked, I will go, I sure don't like their decision, but I uphold their right to make it. And so often I say to people when they write to me, if you can find some compassion, understand the reason that you do the things the way you do is you've learned so much more. And I think we need to remember that as well, if we can, that there are times when you need to see that you have learned a great deal more than a lot of other people. You obviously want to learn more. That's why you come to the broadcasts. And for that, I thank you. It'd be so lonely sitting here talking to myself every week. And so for those of you who are here regularly, thank you, thank you, thank you. I do appreciate it. And I'm going to go off and go and have Sunday dinner and be very grateful for that little bit of me that is Irish. Because I believe that my ability to laugh at myself at times, my ability to see the sunny side of things helps me a great deal, and therefore helps me to help you. But I am no saint and I am no martyr. And therefore, when I got sick on Saturday, or when I realized how sick I was on Saturday, I just went, I'm just not going to be able to do that. And that would upset me, as you know. But it just is what it is. And I didn't feel guilty. I felt sad. Do you understand the difference? I felt sad that a lot of people were waiting for me to broadcast, and I felt sad that I couldn't. And so, but I assure you that didn't last very long, because I turned over and went right back to sleep, and praying that when I woke up, the migraine would be gone. And for some reason, it has lingered. And I don't understand that. Some of you understand migraines better than I do, but it's like, I thought it was just meant to last a little time. And then I remember, did I take the medication I meant to take? No. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I send you all a very warm, loving hug. And I ask you to take your troubles and put them in a bag, walk over the bridge, and drop your troubles over the side of the bridge. Because worrying about them is not going to make your life happier. And it's probably not going to fix the problem. You see, time will fix the problem. Doing the right things will fix the problem. Worry does not fix it. And I wish you all incredible joy in this week and every week that follows. And the ability to be able to see that we make our own happiness. I want you to see that as life brings you drama, that you can see that at some level you are attracting it. That would be a great gift. And so take each bit of drama that comes into your life and go, what is it here to teach me? I want to know how to stop the drama. And for some of you who have managed to stop the drama, it is a very different feeling where you can feel the drama starting to try and come towards you, and you're going, excuse me. One of the things I used to say to my staff members, and I want you to think about this, they would come into my office and say, Sal, we've got a problem. And I go, no, we haven't. What's your problem? And they go, what? I go, we haven't got a problem. I'm fine at the moment. So what's your problem? Do you understand? Until I take on the problem, it's not our problem, it's yours. And people have asked me, how can I do the work that I do and hear so many sad stories from so many people and get so many emails that are sad and not get despondent? I go, I never see it that way. I am so honored that people would share their stories with me. And that knowing that some will let me tell their stories and thereby help other people, I think that's a gift. I am so grateful for the gift. And yes, I understand people are going through tough situations, but tough situations are there to teach us something. And that is what I also remember. Each of us is traveling our own journey at our own speed. Remember that. Each of us is traveling our own journey at our own speed. So we don't have to try and fix everybody. We just need to be the best that we can be and let everybody learn their own lessons. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your kindness, your courage, your honesty, your humor, and all that is Irish in you. I wish you a magical year. Look after one another, but please, 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 remember to look after yourself. Bye-bye for now.